Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good, Mike.
I can't hear you. What are you doing? You gonna whisper? You're gonna whisper now? You're usually loud. Now you're whispering. What are you doing?
Must be the mic.
Must be
The
the
mic.
microphone. That's right, of course. Okay,
Yeah.
so before we get into current events, a little bit of business to take care of here. Uh,
Oh,
we got
oh,
an email.
okay. We see we're on a pattern here. Yeah. Business first.
Well, we got an email, So you got fans when they're writing it. Now, I haven't had a chance to go through this whole thing. So I'm going to say, we're kind of going flying by the seat of our pants, which
Oh,
surprise.
of course. But the indication to me that the indicator about these emails is your expression. One of them, you're kind of happy, in their earlier episode. Look at you. You're contemplative right now. You're
Yeah,
perplexed kind of look. It's like,
yeah, 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 yeah,
hey,
yeah.
yeah, we got an email. I'm like,
Okay, you
okay,
ready?
let's face the music then.
Well, yeah. Hey, Richard and brother Mike. Great to see you guys again. Do you remember me, Nunzo? That no?
Yeah.
He said before you got
Bozo?
none. No, not Bozo. No, no.
That's a real name.
Yeah,
Also,
Nunzo.
nicknames. Nunzo.
Nunzo. No?
Okay.
Not
No,
okay,
no.
good. I don't feel bad then. Before
Cool.
you got religion, brother Mike, you made the best pruno I ever had. Wasn't the same after you left for the chapel. Anyway,
Hey,
I opened it. Huh?
was it the chapel's finest, or did he
No,
work in the chapel?
I don't know what he's
Is
talking
he
about.
saying you had a special blend?
I don't know this guy. Do you know what pruno is?
Of course, or some places called hooch, Bruno, moonshine, prison wine, right?
Okay, all right. It was made with fruit juice, a little bit of yeast if you
Grapefruits.
get it right. The pruno things comes from guys who used to make with pruno, but people who know what they were doing didn't make it with prunes because that had a negative aspect on doing in business. You know what I'm saying? The negative, but I don't, I don't know the guy. I don't know what he's talking about. Okay, so let's get back to the email. Anyway,
Wait. Before you get to the email, talk about what pruno is. I just wanted to go to a quick prison story. Remember when Taft opened up and they were transferring a bunch of inmates,
yeah,
and it was a private corporation,
yeah,
and we kind of ran the yard there. I mean, because we're the federal inmates, and we're in a brand new institution, brand spanking new. Um, we through food service ordered up all kinds of stuff to make pruno. Like it was wild. It was the Wild West, and it was in the West. And anyways, there was where one of the cops stumbled upon a bunch of grapefruits and stuff for the pruno, because we learned our various ways of stashing the stuff on, so unexpected places and ceilings and washers and dryers and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it was just mayhem when you got a new institution and they're corporate. They don't know how we do it. It was just funny.
yeah.
Back to the email.
Yeah, let's go back to the email. I don't know who the guy is. Don't know what pruno I'm talking about. Okay, he says, anyway, I opened an auto repair shop slash restaurant in the IE. What is the
Oh,
I?
Inland Empire in California, not too far from Orange County. It's the next county over.
Our motto is any part, anytime, any vehicle. We specialize in catalytic converters.
It doesn't look like this guy's
Oh no, hang on, just relax. Don't. Why are you judging people? You just jump
Catalytic
like
converter, Mike. I don't know if you know this. It's a big thing in California. People are ripping off catalytic converters because of the precious metals that are used to make it.
well, that's good. Okay. We also have a cafe people can go to while they wait that specializes in pork and pork chops. I wanted to call it the chop shop, but the wife said no. Maybe I can advertise on your show. Let me know. Lemme. Let me know.
Oh yeah. Okay, LMNK.
No, Lemme, let me know.
Okay.
It's like when I get a text from my grandkids or something. Let me.
Ebonics text.
What's let me? Okay, so hey, I got a few questions. All right, ready?
Oh, I thought we were done.
No, he's got questions.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Does Richard dye his hair? If so, what does he use? I want some. Don't answer that. Do you guys have a recipe for nachos in a bag? I remember most of the stuff, but can't find the squeezed cheese out here. I tried it with shredded cheese, but it didn't work. If you do have the recipe, make sure and tell people to use a contractor bag and not a regular trash bag. I did that and it was all effed up. Totally. Wife was pissed. Next question. Can I be an extra in Richard's movie? Next question. You ever going to have some of the guys on the show? You know, that would be great. Tell some stories and stuff. Brother Mike, I remember you being bigger. You lose weight? Question mark. That's it. Nunzo or Nunzo out. Okay. First of all, hey, Nunzo. A lot of questions. What are you, a cop? Yeah. Okay. Do you want to answer any of those questions?
I don't dye my hair. I people in real life ask me that all the time.
Yeah.
60 years old. I have some gray hair, but not much.
Yeah.
Never, I don't dye my hair.
Called genetics, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Nachos in a bag. I don't think anybody's gonna really want to know about that, dude. Can you be an extra in your movie?
Wait. Let's go back to nachos in the bag.
Yeah.
Wait, you brought that up in one of the episodes, and I'm really thinking about this. I'm thinking nachos in a bag, meaning you know how they sold us Santitas, $2,
Oh yeah,
big
no,
bag.
no,
Yeah. So when you made nachos in a bag, you're talking about taking a trash bag,
no.
preferably a 13-gallon trash
Contractor
bag, you
bag.
mean? A what?
Contractor bag. Yeah,
No,
because
not you.
they're heavy duty. They're heavy duty.
Yeah, but did you have access?
That's what they use for trash bags. So what if you're going to go on with this recipe? I don't want you to make people think, oh, you can use a little cheap, thin black garbage bags or white garbage bags or
Oh,
whatever.
that's right. That's right.
Because they're too thin, because you're going to pour boiling hot stuff into it and shake it up. And so I can understand why his wife was upset if he used a cheap trash bag type of thing to do that in. It's going to melt right through the bottom and it's going to get all over your floor and probably you if you're trying to shake it at the same time. All right. So that's you kind of need to be aware of that. Okay. So that's what we're talking about.
Oh, do we want to discuss a recipe yet?
Yeah, no.
Or take care of business first?
I will tell you this. I did make them for my youngest son and wife shortly after I got home. It was a big hit. It was a big hit.
Of course it was, because you're fresh out of the pokey and you know how to do this.
I know how to do it.
I haven't done any prison recipes in a while, but yeah, I was well known for, hey, Rick, you want to hook up some prison burritos? You know, the way you like making them. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Burrito bowls. Burrito bowls. Yeah.
Oh, those were great.
Okay. Yeah, excuse me. I'm just
pizza bowls and burrito bowls.
Okay, so can you be an extra in your movie?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll have security. We'll have security on set. So
I think I do know who this guy is. He was with us at Lompoc. I think it was the same guy.
Sounds like it.
And he used to steal cars, right? Well, I mean, he's very good at organizing things. So he got a group of guys together, say, well, we're going to hit this parking lot and take all these cars. We're kind of hiring cars. We're going to take as many of them as we can. All right. So he's got like 4 or 5 guys. They go, they get the cars, all that kind of stuff, taking off, and the feds are on them instantly. Why the feds? Because it was a federal vehicle yard that they stole the cars from.
A high-end seizure. part of the sentencing and
And I have no
yeah,
idea how the guy got it.
forfeitures and seizures.
And not your best move. Are we gonna have some of the guys
Well,
on the
well,
show?
but wait, I can't knock him for his entrepreneurial skills. Number one, reading a whole lot and going for the whole bunch, right? But not only that, the chop shop. Oh, think about
Well,
that.
that's not brilliant. That's
I was trying to equate or in my mind, okay, mechanic shop, we do all this and that, then we have we have a restaurant, but then he goes into a cafe, which is believable now. I love the chop shop
chop
idea.
shop, yeah.
Pork chops and applesauce.
And you get a record. Look, it's easy to see how some guys got caught, huh? It's easy to see. Are we having any guys on the show to tell stories and stuff?
Eventually, if you're open for it. I mean, you're the producer, so I don't know.
And yes, my friend Nunzo, I was bigger in prison and I am smaller now. All right.
Yeah, you're a pretty big guy. You were at your heaviest, what?
Like 300
At
at Lompoc.
Lompoc,
Yeah.
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 Lompoc.
But no, now I'm about 200 and do more working out, surfing, stuff like that. So it's more interesting. All right. That's the business for I don't think anybody's going to want to advertise on this show, but it's kind of an interesting. I mean, who does he think's listening? This sounds like a recruitment strategy to me.
No, it sounds like let's put the band back together.
Yeah,
Type of
exactly.
thing.
Recruiting.
Blues Brothers, you know.
No, we saw how that ended. Good music,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for the business. Let's move on. Let's move on to topics. Today, as we're recording this podcast, former President Trump is on his way to Georgia to surrender and be booked for a litany of charges from an indictment that came out from a grand jury. So I just give you an idea of what's happening in our world right now. And you had talked a little bit last week about indictments, superseding indictments, that sort of thing. This is a regular pro forma, straightforward indictment, right? So what could he expect to have happen to him today when he goes in to this jail to be booked, Richard?
Well, first of all, it's a state case. It's different than federal, and that brings the Mark Meadows current events into play here because he tried to see if he can avert all that process in the state and at federal court. And there's speculation why he wanted to do that. But the way I call it, the way we see it through our perspective, is he was just trying to get out of it. There are reasons that speculate what's going on in DC in that case, because he's an unnamed unindicted person. So we don't know. But the main thing is, like I said, on the surface, it just sounds like he was really trying to avoid the arrest, everything that Trump's facing today. And it's just part of the process, you know. To me, it's really stark when you hear about this stuff in the news. That these are the facts, man. This is a process of once you get indicted, then you got to get booked and arraigned. You go into a hearing, and the judge makes sure that the indictment lines up with the charges, and you get to plead, in this case, guilty, and then go to trial. So apparently at the state level, it's got to go through the process of getting fingerprinted, mugshot. This is the first time I've seen mugshots in any of these for indictment cases that they released. Rudy's yesterday, and then the other attorney, the female, I forget her, something Powell. And anyways, yeah, they released those mugshots, but they really don't look like mugshots, right, Mike? More look like a photo op with a sheriff's symbol on the back.
Yeah, they don't look like the mugshot that I took. I can tell you that right now.
Where's the that height tape in the back, you know, and the card, you know, inmate number, blah blah blah. Yeah. They don't look like mugshots.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're going to see one on Trump, former President Trump. I don't know.
I don't know in general how I feel about them releasing mugshots anyways of anyone. All right. And let me explain why. I realize it's very exciting, titillating to see famous people with their mugshots and all that kind of stuff. Are you advertising?
Oh, no, yeah, well, it's a coffee mug I got from my bank. And it's a nice coffee mug. It's got one of those speckles from the cowboy days when they put their coffee in the fire. That speckle
Fascinating. So
container.
I know why it gets everyone happy to see mugshots. I get it. I do. But the problem.
This is my mugshot. This is a coffee mug.
Yeah,
Mugshot.
very good, very good. That's a dad joke. All right. So when we're looking at all of these things, these mugshots come out. Now, the issue that I have is this: they're out there forever, right? They are out there forever because the internet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. You can't pull
No
them
one's
down
been
from the
found
internet.
guilty yet, Rich. No one's been found guilty yet. And so afterwards, after you're guilty, okay, all right. But beforehand, there's a presumption of what?
In a sense that
You get a
really, I think
mugshot.
this goes over people's
Yeah, you
head.
get a mugshot out there. How many people stand a chance at a fair trial? Is what I'm saying. If people are seeing it all over the internet, all this sort of thing, and all now, that's just a personal opinion, and it doesn't have anything to do with Trump or Giuliani or any of these guys. What I'm saying is sometimes our desire to be entertained seems to overcome this presumption of innocence and giving somebody if not the benefit of the doubt, at least some dignity in having some sort of chance to prove their innocence, and that mugshot never gets out. But once you blow it out, that's it. It's done.
Well, here's something I'm looking at, and I got to give him some credit here, and some respect with that. The irony in this for Giuliani is that he was a prosecutor. He rang people under this RICO Act, and he's having a positive, the words he's saying. I'm like, wow, he's not cutting down the system. He's saying, I'm ready to face it. I'll go through the process like anybody else has. I believe in American justice and law. So, but I didn't do it. So, but I'll go through the process. I gotta respect him for that.
Yeah. I
Facing the
mean,
music.
he was also the mayor
Not
of
like
11.
like this other dude that we just mentioned, trying to get out of his case, trying to get bailed out. Well, that's the other thing. They're all getting bonded and bailed. No one's going to jail right now.
But what's wrong with trying to get out of a federal indictment? What's wrong with that? Does that mean he's
Well,
already
you're not
in
you
your eyes?
well, in my case, and we talked about it last episode, is I accept the responsibility for what I did. Yeah. I try to get when we get into the sentencing phase, a departure from my sentence, 2 points, which could be about 2 years, points on the criminal point list. 2 points would have narrowed my sentence maybe to 12 years instead of 15. But what they did is, you brought this up again. I'm just reminding the people, that our listeners, that we discussed some of these things. But as we talk more about this, more details, develop. So I try to get a departure from my sentence, a reduction by accepting responsibility. But because I took it to trial and decided to exercise my appellate rights to appeal, I got hit for obstruction of justice. So those 2 points that they would have gave me went back up for 2 points for obstructing justice and getting in the way of things. Kind of, that's what it says.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't like
Yeah,
it.
I like that. I don't agree with what Meadows and the other guy, Jeffrey Clark, are trying to do. They're trying to get out of it. Go through the process, present your case. You're innocent. You're innocent. So just go through it like Giuliani. Man up.
I guess. I mean, if you can get out of a federal indictment, get out of a federal indictment, for goodness
Dude,
sake.
yeah. That's like
Or
worse than
state
a
indictment or
Houdini
anything
trick.
like. People are going to do everything they can to get out, and so I don't judge them for that. I think all the judging will come. I mean, it's already here. Don't get me wrong, but I think if anybody's found guilty, that's when the condemnation will start. That's when all the indignation ought to start, as opposed to when it's going through the process. In my opinion, having been through that, now I went through trial too. All right.
Yeah.
And I didn't accept responsibility. I fought it tooth and toenail, right? 3 months of trial to go through in this case. And very few people have ever asked me, why did you do that? Why not just plead out and do that? And here's the answer why. They also were bringing, at the same time, civil forfeiture charges against me. And so they were seizing bank accounts, cars, motorcycles, houses, all of this stuff. They were seizing it, but they could only seize it. They couldn't kick us out of it if unless I was guilty. And so trying to fight the civil forfeiture and trying to fight I said, no, if you're going to do this, no, you're taking me to trial. You bring in everybody. And they did. But then what they did to get past that was they put the civil forfeiture on hold until after the trial, because it'd be much easier if I was found guilty to get all my stuff, right? And so the rationale in my mind, and you have to understand the first time being through it, all that kind of thing, I got to delay this as long as possible because I don't want my family out on the street. And so that's why I went to trial. It wasn't because I thought I was innocent. I mean, I had a public defender. I mean, come on, dude. You have a public defender in a complex case, money laundering and all. But drag it out as long as possible. See if, find a place for my family to be able to live and all of that sort of thing while fighting it. So that's why I went to trial. And if I pled guilty to the sheet, not telling on anybody, I would have gotten a 3-point reduction. All right. But the deal was plead guilty to the sheet and do what, Richard?
Confess.
Roll.
Yeah, confess. Yeah.
Confess and roll over and tell on everybody.
Yeah.
So not an option, but that was what was going on. Now, civil forfeiture is very interesting, Rich. And these federal cases that they have against these formerly elected officials and Washington insiders, if they choose to, they can search and find out if they made money doing these things and seize their property.
Right. So just so I'm clear on this, because your case is more complex. I was just a low-level player. The nuances in your case are more applicable today's news, because you got hit with a mastermind as well, right? The top of the enterprise here, right? And somebody's subject to that, so there's some relevance there. But I wanted to, on the civil forfeiture stuff, and to keep your family in the home, and they were going to let that go until they, got found guilty, which they knew they were going to do it to you anyways. But I just want to know, did they freeze your assets?
Yes.
I mean, what?
Yep.
That's why you went public defender?
I had a great attorney.
They couldn't take your stuff, but they put it in the freezer for you, right? I
had a great attorney, really great attorney. He's the one that came up with the saying, you could get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich. Right. Yeah, I had him. Yeah. Right? Major player. I'm not going to mention his name because he committed suicide later on. But
well, he's not here to defend himself.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. But as soon as
the defense attorney defend himself,
as soon as my money was frozen, he said, "Here, let me tell you something." He said, "They have great public defenders that can handle this." He says, "I can't get off this case unless you sign this paperwork. And if you don't sign this paperwork, I'm going to go to court and I'm going to read a magazine for the entire length of the trial. I'll read a new magazine every day, not cross-examine anybody, and you'll get no defense at all." Now, having not been through that before, I had no idea that he couldn't do that. But I was naive and said, okay, all right, sure. I have faith in the system, and signed. And so I was appointed a public defender that had never handled a white collar case, had never handled a money laundering case, had never handled any major crime case like this in the feds. And so I'm basically walking him through what's going on, and he's not getting it. He doesn't know. He's not sure. He was doing low level stuff. He was doing some minor drug bust, stuff like that. They got me. So that's when people start rejoicing over people going to prison, and I understand there's some folks that, you know, we can all agree need to go. Some of the people that I met, you know, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds that now had federal felonies on their thing, on their jacket, never going to be able to do much because of that. That began to bother me more and more. Not to where I was going to become a lawyer or become the writer of Lompoc or anything like that, but it's a disturbing thing when people rejoice. It's almost like, and I'm not suggesting that the current situation is this, but it's almost like we got to find somebody who's that we can live our fantasies out through and lock them up. This is so exciting. They're going to lock up this person or that person. You know, serial murders, you know, I get it. Kidnappers, rapists, child molesters, I get it. But when you start locking up guys that are 70 something years old, or you start making fun, like people doing with President Biden, making fun of him when he falls or says something, to me, that says something about our society. And now these mugshots are going to be out there. And let's say Trump does run. Let's say he gets a, you know, whatever he can run. You don't think those mugshots are going to appear everywhere as there's things against him? And you know, now we got the Hunter Biden thing. It's the, we're going to investigate this, and we're going to, come on. At some point, we got to say enough's enough, in my opinion. And we got to look at not just politics, but the criminal justice system too. The idea of somebody who is mentally ill that you lock up, do you think that person's going to get better for locking them up? Remember the treatment, the medical treatment at Lompoc, at Taft? You remember those? I mean, look, so to me, it's a little frustrating. I mean, I'm too old to see anything change. I get that, but it's something that we don't hear much anymore. This idea of just kind of a reasoned approach to things, a little more common sense, a little less politics, please. So that's a rant, I realize, but it's one of those rants that to me is worth hearing. And maybe it's not. Maybe people be outraged. You know, now I'll get blocked or whatever by that. You know, what are you gonna do? You got an old man that's been through something. You don't want to listen. Don't listen.
That's all we're doing here is just talking about our own personal experience. Makes us professionals now in this true crimes aspect of things. You know, give a professional opinion about it, and that's why, you know, doing this podcast, I'm perplexed. I want to get this, you know, ride this wave of popularity right now, and it's kind of hip to be cool to be an ex-con type of thing, as long as you turn your life around. You know, no one wants to hear the story about but we go back to the two barrels, Mike, you know, that we ourselves can see what the public doesn't. Well, the public perception of being an ex-con is, well, you never change. But we see that in that cathartic experience for some people, for some, not all.
Yeah.
There is recidivism and there's a reason for it. But again, our eyes, the population, what we see, people walk, who they hang out with, who they associate with, you'll see some patterns in there that just they don't get it. That's why I said they don't get it in the previous podcast. But what again, back on this personal, professional perspective, POV, point of view on this, is I don't like what I'm seeing. It's because of the advent of social media. Things are out there really quick. So some people have gotten really crafty in being able to flip the script, as we say, turn things around, spin doctors. Okay. And that's what's bothering me, because the public in general is being fed information from both sides, the legal side and the political side. And the politicians are all wrong when they're trying to make a defense for the very laws that some of them have created or enacted in Congress. Yet they don't want to hold anybody accountable to that's part of the good old boys club. But people like you and I will get jammed up real quick. So The rude awakening is this, I think, for the public. This is why I want to talk about this stuff on our podcast. Is there going to be the court of public opinion? Yeah, I can sway things, but when it comes to federal court, homie, don't play that. Homie, the clown dink, you know, they'll give you the time. There's no compunctions about anything. They got all the money and the manpower, bring you down and take you down. And that is the force and the weight of the government. And what are they doing? They're enforcing law. They're the gatekeepers to the law that's on the books. There is an obstruction of obstruction of justice enhancement that I got for taking my case to trial. But I was floored when I was sitting in Lompoc. I'm sitting in the TV room. I'm watching Bill Clinton go through his impeachment, and in there they hold up that sentencing guideline book. They talked about the obstruction of justice that was in that book, and I'm sitting back. Oh my God, that's the book that the judge threw at me. Prosecutors used. That stuff is real. It hit home. If somebody high in office can get through, go through that ringer of what I did, what I'm under, I was good, meaning I felt comfort in that I wasn't singled out, so, but anyways, it's just some strange times right now. I don't like the pushback that we're getting from the public opinion, because they have no idea, none whatsoever. Then you got politicians in the Senate and in the Republican House misleading the public on what this is. And you and I know darn well what it is, and we're just going to stick to the facts and say, if you believe everything that they're saying, wait till the trial starts. Wait till trial starts. A different story.
I hear you. I get that. My thing is, though, here's the deal, and this is a personal experience. My first job in broadcasting was in North Platte, Nebraska. All right. I got hired as a news director at a radio station there. Right. I was 19 years old. News directors at small radio stations, there may be one or two other people on staff, but usually it's all about the news director gathering the news, reading the news, and all that. Now, I think they liked my voice better than they liked my credentials, because what a 19-year-old kid, right? And I was the one that decided what went on the radio as far as news was concerned every day and every night.
Kind of like a program director?
No, as a news director. I directed all the news stuff. So program director runs the whole station. So this deal is that a 19-year-old kid is now deciding what everybody in North Platte, Nebraska gets to hear on the radio regarding.
Gets spoon-fed.
Right now, how does that make you feel? Do you think it was a wise choice?
Empowering.
Yeah,
empowering.
Well, yeah, for empowering. But do you think it was a good choice? I didn't.
Not for somebody not experienced. No.
I had never been to Nebraska before. I didn't know what Nebraska was about. They used to have a thing called the Pork Festival and have a pork queen every year. Pork producers, pork queen, and of course everybody laughed, called it pig queen or stuff like that. But I mean, it was a beauty pageant, right? I thought they were joking when they told me, and I started laughing, right? Used to read obituaries on the air. And the first time I messed up a name, I kind of laughed a little bit. Oh, complaints from the family, because I laughed during the reading the obituary.
Disrespectful, right.
19-year-old kid. The 19-year-old kid's deciding what you're going to hear. Now, let's fast forward to today. Who decides what you're going to see on the news, on TV or cable, radio, going in newspapers? Does everybody get to vote on what news we're going to? No, they don't. There's a committee. There may be a few people or something that's going to decide. But what is the driving force for media? What's the thing they want most?
Public's reaction or comments, interest.
Money. They want money. They want advertising dollars. And how do you get advertising dollars? By what you just said. Put on something that everybody's going to want to see. Right. Now, is it the major news for the day? Not. Maybe not. Who knows? But it's
maybe in your given area it is.
It's something that their algorithm has told them is hot for the day. I looked on Twitter this morning. What was trending? Trump's mugshot. All right. So I mean, Is that the biggest news that we're going to have today? Is it?
Is there a mugshot out there, or is it
No,
doctor?
he hasn't turned himself in until tonight.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
But that's what people were talking about. So
Mhm.
what do you think is going to lead the news tonight? Will be something about Trump, on whether it's liberal, whether it's conservative, whether it's if there is anything in between anymore. I don't know. But the point is, it's driven by demographics. An algorithm says people are most interested in this. The guy who got whacked in Russia yesterday, the
General,
yeah,
Bogosian.
yeah, whatever. Where's that story today? Buried. Why? Because a former president is going to turn himself in to a county courthouse in Georgia to do whatever. So what I'm saying is we're not really getting a lot of news. We're not getting a lot of real deal. And I don't know how we would. I'm just saying we really need to. Well, I love Fox News, or I love CNN or Newsmax or whatever. I get that. And that's fine. I'm not criticizing. What I'm saying, well, they're believable. They're convincing is what they are. I don't know that they are believable if we look at all these different sides of a story, but that requires time. And we've only got 5 minutes for a story or 2 minutes for a story. So we're going to hit the highlights and this, that, and the other thing. All right. So the big storm that came into Southern California, there's going to be this massive hurricane coming in. It's Hurricane 1. Now, I live in a hurricane area. So, I mean, it drops to a tropical storm or whatever. Here it's no big deal. Okay, here it comes. We're going to stay. We're going to leave. Well, we had one this week too. Where are those stories now? Where's the Maui wildfires? Those stories now?
Right.
You follow?
Fall to the wayside. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not as a priority.
It's
top
a cycle.
news.
It's a cycle.
Yeah.
So when we start talking about crime and punishment, we're not looking at Dostoevsky's book. What we're looking at is a little blurb, and you can read the indictment for yourself. Cool. Read the indictment for yourself.
I did. Yeah.
Those are allegations. Allegations, not proven fact. And that used to mean something, but now it's just so salacious. And I'm sorry to be going on such a rant, folks, but it's one of those things where at some point we have to use our own common sense. Oh, they're going to make us have a mask again. There's more coronavirus. Come on. Everybody take a breath for a second. Take a breath. Evaluate it for yourself. I know it takes time and effort, but it's worthwhile. That's how I got involved with UAPs and the paranormal and all that sort of thing. I did some reading. I thought it was interesting. It may be bubblegum for the mind for me. I don't know. But to me, as a religious scholar and a psychological scholar, it's interesting. Most people go, well, I don't know. But there's groups out there, just like there's political groups, there's groups out there in these UFO, UAP, paranormal that hate each other and try and tear each other down all the time. And so what's the commonality here? It's sidedness. We're on one side or the other. There's no middle ground. There's no, I was going to say 50 shades of gray, but that's entirely the wrong metaphor to use there. But there's no shades of gray at any rate. So for criminals, for us, ex-cons, what would it take to convince people that we had changed? I gave up on that. In academia, I don't think it would surprise anybody if I went back to prison tomorrow. Honestly, but that's my perception of how I'm viewed. So I stopped caring how they viewed me and have become a bit more popular, I guess, because of it. And so I think of the same thing with you, with your movie. They're not going to accept you. So you do it on your own. You don't give up. They're not going to say, oh, yeah, come on. Welcome to the good old boys club here, Rich. Bring your indictments and stuff with you. We love you. Come on. So instead, what do? You go out and do it on your own. So, okay, I'm done ranting. I may get up and go get water. I don't know. I'm tired.
Wait, hang on. You touch upon UFOs and phenomenon, the stuff we discussed in episode 4.
Yeah, whatever.
And what I wanted to highlight to everyone is that was our most viewed video so far,
Yeah.
episode. And maybe it's because of those weird things, and you've become sort of a quote unquote expert in this, somebody with a reasoned sense of of being able to do research and apply yourself because you're highly degreed.
Well,
And
that
so
has nothing to do with it. It's
saying
just,
that led some credibility here, and that you're not, it's not just hogwash. This is interesting to you,
yeah,
and this is what you're sharing.
yeah.
And for some reason, that's our most popular episode by far right now. And then you talked about this different sides of things just a moment ago. I call it a wide spectrum. Trying to be in the middle here. And it's very hard, Mike, to not have an opinion, to actually try to talk about the things that are current without showing what side we lean on, because there's no side. But the side I do lean on is the truth here. And I don't like the politics that are misleading the facts here of what's going on. They make it political. And then you got the media exasperating it all because it just it's the main thing. But the media doesn't even know what they're talking about, because I talk about those criminal news correspondents. The one thing they don't do is they 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 don't know how to talk about the federal guidelines and how they apply. Uh, they get these ex prosecutors to co-anchor, like especially on CNN and CSNBC. All these so-called experts. Guess what, Mike? None of them have been on that tail end like we have of the receiving end of all that, how it really comes out to play, and how the guidelines come into play. It's already predetermined in a book what your sentence is going to be. And therefore, that's why they talk about months and not years. And that's one thing that I could tell that these news reporters don't know what the hell they're talking about when they fail to mention the months that somebody's facing. As I said, I was stunned when I couldn't compute what 180 months meant to me. I didn't know. I was prepared for the mandatory minimum, which is 10 years times 12 months is 120. That was easy math, do it by tens. But they add another, see, I can't even come up with a number. See, 120, add another 60 months. Oh, that to me, that's 5 years. But when you say 180 months, the hell is that? Oh, I'll explain it to you on lockup,
Yeah.
what it all means.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Right.
by the way, you're not getting bail either.
Oh, right. Exactly.
Yeah,
I
right.
remember when I
Yeah.
went back
Yeah.
after sentencing, and there's all these guys in there. They've been making noise and doing all that. And yeah, yeah. They looked at me and said, "You probably didn't get much time, probably go to a camp, all this kind of stuff. How long was your sentence?" So I told them, and they shut up, and most of them moved to the other side of the cell. All right.
Yeah. What was your sentence? 210 months or
Yeah.
something like that?
Because and this was in San Francisco. They were all scared to death after that, you know.
See, that's got to be mind blowing. Just the word 200 in months, right? Did
Yep.
you already figure it out in your head since you were money
Oh no,
laundering, good at numbers?
no,
Did it
no,
stun
no,
you too?
no, no. I had to go back and do the math, and because you're shocked.
Yeah.
You're done. So I mean that was one of those things, and people don't realize that it can be stunning. It can be stunning indeed when you're trying to talk. Not necessarily defend yourself, but give a statement. Do you want to make a statement? And I was like, what do you want me to say? What's gonna, you've been
So real
nothing
quick,
indicative of being on my side at all, Judge. You're just all prosecutor. So, but look, guilty is guilty. I get it, but guilty hasn't arrived yet in these cases.
right.
So that's why I say when you start throwing mugshots out there onto the internet, they can never be recalled, never be pulled back in. They become public property, right? And people use them for all kinds of things. And that's why I have trouble with that before a person is found guilty. All right. If they're found innocent, why would their mugshot have to be out there, Rich? I mean, that's what I keep thinking.
Yeah.
There's not many people going to beat cases. I realize that, but I mean, on the slim chance.
I'd say right now, Mike, I kind of want to change up real quick if
Oh,
we can.
good, good.
Um, well, change up and it's almost that time. And within less than 5 minutes, can you just give an overview of with your true crime, with what what you did, the amount of money? It's real quick. Your
Uh,
experience.
yeah, well, it's, here's what I will say. Every time that I've tried to explain my crime or talk about my crime to someone, and just open up about it, they say it comes across as I'm trying to defend myself. That a justification or that sort of thing, right?
That's
And
why
so,
you're reluctant. Yeah.
yeah, so
Okay.
this is what I tell people: go read the on the internet about me. Go look up that case and read what the government said, and I'm fine going with that. Okay, I will just go with that because the real story behind it is a bit more complex, complicated, but we needed to make it simple, I guess, for the jury to understand. So that's what they did. So I'm fine with it. Go with that. I don't want to come across as defending myself or saying, "Oh, I was a victim of." Nah, I wasn't a victim of anything. I did it. All right, but I'm also not going to come across with our tens of listeners as trying to somehow defend myself or a victim of circumstance or that. I'm past trying to explain myself to anybody about anything. All right. And that's why I have so few friends, but the friends that I do have, I keep, and I've had one friend ask me to tell him about the crime, and I told him what I just told you. Go look it up. I'll go with that. We'll stick with
Well,
that.
same with me here. Uh, in fact, somebody did read my case, and again, going to trial was to retain all my rights to appeal because I really thought I had something on the warrantless winning without a search warrant search of my luggage, and that was the only thing I wanted to preserve all the way up to the Supreme Court. That's why I didn't plead guilty, because you plead guilty, you waive all your rights. So I got to tip my hat off to people that have pled guilty,
Yeah.
um, because that's a hard pill to swallow. It really is, especially at the amount of time that they're talking. But anyways, um, real quick, uh,
Oh yeah, and I got an idea
the,
too. So I don't want to forget. I want to give my idea, not now, but
okay,
in a minute.
okay, just park it for a second.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, thing about being ex-cons, um, it's kind of cool. And I'll tell you why. The reason why I decided to do this podcast, again, as a reminder, is because I'm getting resistance once people find out my background, and it's not rocket science to find out who you and I are, our cases are public. Um, but anyways, this thing about the ex-cons, and I sent you a YouTube. Yes, yeah, that one guy. He's in the meditation. He says he manifested his way out of prison after what nearly some kind of something involved with a police officer or something. He got thrown in jail. But anyways, but he's got thousands of followers, Mike. I wanted you to see that. People like him. I was looking at the comments. I think to him, he looks like a tough guy, but he looks like a cupcake. He sounds like one compared to us. We seem like tough guys. You
Well,
know,
I no, no, come on, don't make fun of the way he talks.
no,
Come on.
no, 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 no. A cupcake, meaning a real appealable guy. He does look good. He looks young. He does have the bald head like you, but very well put together. And that's why I said he doesn't look like he does. He's got a different attitude about it, and it's all the holistic mindset that he's got. Yeah, fine to this, but good for him,
Yeah,
right?
right,
But
exactly.
he people are buying into it and they're subscribing and liking to his channel, like you guys should do here. But anyways, he's just more charismatic, I guess, about it. So that's what I meant by cupcake. But anyways, more appealable. Cupcakes are nice. Um, but still, this ex-con thing that I'm noticing. Yeah, there's people pushing back on me. Oh man, yeah, but look what I'm doing now. This is my life. I'm all about success, and I'm talking. If it goes into Hollywood, let's talk about some movies that have ex-cons or the storyline of an ex-con. Measure. Okay, I like the one with Liam Nielsen in that one. Ex-prisoner gets out. He's got a rough life afterwards.
I've never
Um,
seen that. What is it called?
Les Miserables.
That's a
less
French.
miserables, less miserables. Yes.
Is it a musical?
And
Is it Les Mis
no, it is a Broadway play, but Lim Nielsen did it a few years ago. Good story.
singing?
Victor Hugo, I think is his, no, no.
Oh,
Good story. You got to watch it.
no, no, no. I
Um,
read the book.
yeah, the book is good too.
Depressing.
Um, okay. Um, uh, The Count of Monte Cristo. Rags to riches story. Ex-con gets thrown in prison, and it's all about, instead of getting back at his enemies that threw him in there, he just tries to work it out and live a better life and find true love. That's what we're all trying to do. Ant-Man, the movie Ant-Man, the Marvel Comics movie,
I haven't
with
seen that
Paul
one.
Rudd in it. Well, I know, but Paul Rudd, his character is an ex-con that turned superhero. So there's so many movies in Hollywood where the ex-con is actually turns out to be a good guy later.
Oh, okay.
And I like those kind of movies. And I want people not to look at it as less than, like you had said before, less than. Condescending, that's probably a word, right? That applies.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying about you, the
No, no, I'm just
email.
saying that's it was used in the first couple of episodes rather thoroughly. So
Yeah, yeah.
obviously I've reformed and changed my ways. I'm no longer that way, and you're no longer that way. So it's terrific.
See, that's all it is. We're reformed guys,
Yeah.
reformed bad guys, bad, but yeah, bad boys, bad guys, whatever.
Yeah.
Reformed. We know the difference between right and wrong, and we're not going to do it again. So that's what I wanted to say about that. That it's kind of cool, some of these storylines, and I did Google how many ex-con movies are out there. There's a ton of them, too many to even mention.
It's great.
So,
Okay.
let's live a life of I do want to get on that topic. How can we and learn to redeem the time, dial back the time, and do positive things going forward? I think that's what that means.
Gotcha.
Being that you're degreed in psychology, I'm sure there's some nuances that you can find that some real tools for the people to use as levers in their life.
And there are. I mean, look, a lot of people have. I'll give you one right now. A lot of people have what I call negative self-talk, and it's generally an accepted psychological counseling term, negative self-talk. And so oftentimes what I'll ask people to do is write down what they're saying to themselves. They don't have to show it to me, just write down what you're saying to yourselves and ask yourself, is it true? I'm the worst person in the world. All right. Are you the worst person in the world? No. Okay, then you're lying to yourself. Now, I'm a little more diplomatic than that. Don't get me wrong. But it's the idea, what are you saying to yourself on the inside? When you're mad, what are you saying? Is it true? It's like when people say things about people, and their feelings get hurt. It's like, okay, what they said, is it true? No. Well, then they're wrong and you're right. So we move on. We have to adopt a mindset of, what are you saying to yourself? What are you saying to yourself every single moment of every single day? How are you feeling about yourself? If it's less than, so we stop and say, is it true? I mean, I doubt you're the worst cook in the world or the worst person in the world or worthless. So we try and work from that. So that's one of the things that I use. Okay, and let's move on. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so I will watch Ant-Man. I want to see Ant-Man. All right, and I just haven't. It's one of those things where just other things come out, new Star Trek thing comes out or something like that, and I'm like, oh, I got to watch all of those. But I will watch Ant-Man.
The thing about Ant-Man being an ex-con, he's actually a robber. He steals stuff. He's a bank robber. So in his superhero powers, that allows him as Ant-Man to know how to, open things up and you know, get into things. And yeah, so he saves the day by his skills as an ex-con.
Great. Well, I will watch it. Now that brings me to my brilliant idea that I want us to do. All right. I would like our tens of viewers to make recommendations over true crime series, movies, whatever, for Richard and I to review. We'll both watch them and then we will review them right here. All right. So this is a real test as to how this season is going to end. need a series, and Richard, don't come up with one. Do not come up with one on your own. I want this to be viewers, listeners, suggestions. All right. Now, my going into these things is that they're all garbage. I watched like one, it's all garbage. And so I'm a little biased, but I'm willing to be open-minded, as I was talking about today. But I want us to review what people classify as true crime stuff. All right. And then come back and talk about it here. And we will give it, say 5 cell review, if it's good.
Prison bars,
5-cell review. And if it's bad, it's like 1 or none. It may go right to the gas chamber. All right. That may be the type, the bottom of the gas chamber. All right. So that gives you an idea. So are you on for that? You ready to do that?
sure, we could do that under our new spinoff, Brother Mike and Lizard review show.
And keep sending the emails, folks. The email address, the Novaturient
But I agree.
podcast, the Novaturients podcast at gmail.com.
I was going to say I agree with you on the movie stuff. Some of them are hogwash, or like Con Air.
I like Con Air.
But there is really a Con Air though.
I know there was, but I mean, I like that movie. I like Con Air, and I thought it was pretty good. Totally phony, but like it's like Star Wars,
Well, for
totally
the
phony, but you're enjoying
antics that are in there. But what's real about Con Air that I didn't like, and the other movie I was going to suggest is U.S. Marshals. Anyways, U.S. Marshals with Keanu Reeves, I think, or somebody, and I forget his name. But anyways, 2 movies about the federal system. On Air is very real. That's what they call it. It's an 2 or 3 jets that ship inmates all across the country. But the thing I didn't like about it is the good old black box handcuffs. You know what I'm talking about? The black box.
I wore those from San Francisco to Lompoc on a bus.
See, he knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're an extra layer of
hands and feet.
Oh yeah, your feet are shackled, and you got chains between. So you got to skip and walk like this with your hands in front of you. Hope you don't trip. And the black box is designed to go over the chain that the handcuffs is to make it more secure, so you can't escape. I don't even think Houdini could even do that one.
I don't know.
But
okay,
I got an interesting story about how that was created.
Good.
I do.
Let's go. I'm kind of done. This has been a long episode.
It's been a long episode. Yes.
Not bad though. Not bad.
Okay. Cool.
Need suggestions for true crime series. Breaking Bad is not a true crime series. All right. That is not a I thought it was quite good.
Somebody thought you kind of resembled that guy.
Yeah, they did not. Walter White?
And they tried to, what's his name?
Walter White.
Oh, no, but his Bryan Cranston is the actor's name.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, they thought you bring that Breaking Bad element to this, making your hooch and pruno, stuff like that.
I'm practically a saint. What are you talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Saint Pruno.
St. Pruno, yeah, right. Okay, that's it. Good to see you, pal. Next time, what are we going to talk about? Oh, next time
prison recipes.
Yeah, we'll talk about something like that. Maybe I'll give you a prison recipe. Don't forget, make your recommendations for the true crime series that you would like for us to watch and review for you in our unbiased way, and we'll get it done for maybe this season or next season or whatever. All right. So that's it. Okay. Bye.
Bye.